And a welcome or welcome back to everybody. If you're still alive here during the live recording of this long walkthrough, which is actually about an hour, I think it's going to be about an hour shorter than the first one I did on Tuesday. It has still been a very long one, and instead of saving the thanks for last, I would like to say now thanks to everybody who joined and stayed. Some of you have been actually here since the very beginning. Special thanks to my two mods who have been keeping the friendly atmosphere and discussion in the live chat. Right, we are about to put an ending to this expansion and to this story arc for an Empire and Eternal Throne. The last chapter is called The Eternal Throne, and that is exactly what we are going for. Back to Zakuul.
You are ready.
Commander, what's wrong?
I had another nightmare. I was about to take the throne, but Vaylin was there, waiting for me.
She's gone now. It's her father we should worry about.
Whatever he pulls, I'll be ready. Did you bring the holocron?
I've been studying it since we escaped Nathema. The relic's function remains a mystery, but its power is undeniable. If it can protect you from Valkorion.
Do you actually believe that dusty trinket can harm me?
This trinket is strong in the Force. You locked it away for a reason, and if you turn against me, I will use it.
Cling to antiques if you must, but do not lose focus. Seek the Eternal Throne. We have sacrificed too much to turn on each other now.
I felt his presence. How can you stand it?
The more Valkorion talks, the more he reveals himself.
It's what he keeps hidden that scares me.
Commander, to the bridge.
Your crew's ready. It's time.
All holocones are based on a complex yet elegant technology, and so on and so on. I won't read that, don't worry. You can read it yourself. You can find it in my guide on Vulkk.com. Or I may actually read it out loud during another live stream, but not today.
Take a breath.
Yeah, don't insult Lana about her yellow eyebrows. She's trying to change to keep herself appealing.
At last. The time has come to take the Eternal Throne.
Empress Vaylin has fallen. In her absence, the Eternal Fleet rampages across known space, threatening to wipe out all life in the galaxy. There's only one way to stop them. We must seize the throne.
Problem is, those warships are blockading Zakuul, and bombing the city to rubble.
The fleet will stop at nothing to protect the throne. No ship can break their blockade, not even to flee for safety.
This ship's fortified with upgrades from Iocath. If any vessel can punch through, we can.
If I reroute all power to shields, we might crack that blockade.
Then it's settled. When do we reach Zakuul?
Now! Shields up. It's been nice knowing you, Commander.
Break that blockade.
Everyone, to your battle stations, for the Alliance!
We will join your fight, Commander.
I started this war. Now, I'll help you end it.
Let's take the throne and save your homeworld.
For Zakuul.
For the Alliance.
Got you.
And we are back on Zakuul. Let's go seize the Eternal Throne. Of course, on the way, we still have a few Sky Troopers to deal with. Do you imagine we can get by without killing a few of them? For the last time.
You'll be all right.
What the hell? Ah, he stealthed it. That's why he didn't die. Of course, you can't escape those. It's a forced fight. At least there should have been an achievement about killing 2 million of those Sky Troopers.
Tight goblet. A favorite tactic among the Knights of Zakuul.
When I was in charge, the knights had better aim.
Bullseye. Indozal reporting for duty. Full of vigor and raring to serve the Alliance.
Though that blast shot may have dislocated my shoulder.
I knew we could count on you. Now give the signal and send the rebels to join the fight.
My pleasure, Outlander. My compatriots borrowed artillery from the local militia. They'll begin raining fire any moment now, I'm sure of it.
You and your friends will all have a place in the Alliance once this is over.
I'm getting all misty. Now if you'll excuse me, I must plan for your ascension to the throne. It will be my grandest party yet.
Loot. What do we have? Nothing interesting, really. Oh, what the hell is this? 210. Okay, and the green one. More of them. Go away. Come on, I know you're here. Maybe I can put myself into a challenge one of these days, doing this chapter eventually in the future. Try to kill all of the Sky Troopers as they spawn one by one, not allowing them to bunch up together. Maybe with a ranged DPS character. Trio, I believe it was you who mentioned in the end of the previous chapter, why is ranged DPS having issues with the Vaylin fight? What is so different there? Does she pull you constantly to herself?
Victory is almost upon us, but you ignore a closer threat. The disgraced former emperor and his mother, a knight turned traitor. Strike down my family, and you will face no competition for the throne.
Your family helped me save Odessen and defeat Vaylin. I won't turn against them now.
Do not underestimate the temptation of the Eternal Throne. Zakuul burns. The Republic suffers. And the Sith Empire crumbles. Only you can pacify the throne and end this cycle of violence.
Okay, we're still on the same topic. Oh, more endless Sky Trooper spawns. I'm fully aware of what you've just said, Draux. I know that fact, and that's something I cannot change. In terms of the reflecting, yes, if I'm not mistaken, it's the purple circle. Yeah, but what actually prevents your range DPS from staying close to her all the time? You should be fine staying in melee DPS range, just like a melee DPS would. What exactly is different? You don't really need to be in a range or a range DPS to be as successful as a melee DPS should be. Purely speaking about the mechanics of the fight, nothing related to the story or how you would kill her in the end with a pistol, for example. Isn't the fact that you almost died with your commando dependable on your current gear? What kind of gear do you have on your commando? For example, if I had, well, I do have decent gear on my commando, why would I expect no trouble from Vaylin? I don't use any specific cooldowns on my melee DPS that I don't exactly have on my commando. Are we done? I think so. Okay, that's actually a valid reason. You are forced to move away if you don't want to take the extra damage, especially in higher difficulties. From the wide red circle, or was it purple? I already forgot. And you don't have a gap closer. Well, you do have a gap closer on some of the range classes. For example, on the commander, you can just turn around and knock yourself backwards in terms to move closer to her.
My throne. I took my brother's life here, provoked Vaylin's anger, abandoned the people of Zakuul.
You're a different man now, free of Valkorion's influence. Don't fall to temptation.
You are right. Claim the throne, Commander. You have earned it. The fleet has gone quiet.
You did it, Commander.
Well done. After years of strife, you have become Emperor of Zakuul, commander of the fleet, and heir to the Eternal Throne.
Your family's caused enough damage. I won't let the throne fall into the wrong hands again.
Neither will I.
No!
Stop, Father!
I once offered you mercy in this very room, but you refused to bow. Now, you have no choice.
If you think I'm your puppet...
Bow.
As you command, my Emperor.
You're an exemplary pawn. One I forged into a vessel of supreme power, worthy of preserving my spirit. Now I take your body as my own, and rule once more as the immortal Emperor.
You can't do this, Valkorion.
I already have.
Wake up. Wake up. What happened?
Who am I?
You're the Alliance Commander, once known as the hero of Typhon and conqueror of the Sith Emperor. You wear Valkorion's skin, but you're the same person you always were.
There must be a way to regain control and get out of wherever here is.
Valkorion shattered your mind and tossed you into the abyss of your psyche. He thinks you're dead, but you survived by assuming his form. Find the holocron. Save yourself.
And this is yet another epic chance to play something different throughout the story of Eternal Throne. It's time to take the action and see from the eyes of Valkorion himself, although it's actually not really Valkorion, it's my character, the hero of Titan. So, we've got an electrocution attack, we do have a force storm attack, which is a basic AoE. Then we have a dark ritual, which is a self-heal and lifesteal from multiple enemies. Dark blast is yet another internal damage attack. Phase relocate, phase teleport, and what was the other one? And phase jump are 3 teleport abilities, I should say. You are more or less immortal throughout this moment here, simply because nothing is really capable of hurting you that much, and even if something does hurt you, you can always steal life from other enemies like this. Just sit nearby some of them and heal yourself while killing them. My character's voice does sound a little bit more cocky, yes, of course. He does have plenty of experience, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's deserved. I love that slow movement effect. Right, so yes, I forgot to mention, I think it was the G-Scar who mentioned first about the maintenance tomorrow. It wasn't announced officially until apparently just now. I haven't actually opened the official BioWare forums yet. But I suppose before the official launch of Star Wars Knights of the Eternal Throne, we will have a 3 hours maintenance, right? I don't like the sound effects from these lightnings. They could have been a little bit more epic. So, to unlock the next path, or the next part of the quest, I meant to say, sorry, I need to actually go down the stairs, see that they end nowhere.
Valkorion has poisoned your mind. Cleanse your corrupted memories or you'll be trapped here forever.
Oh, the voice of the Jedi Knight does sound better than the Sith Warrior so far. And we have 5 entrances, 5 corridors to go and discover or remind ourselves of 5 important memories from the recent past.
When you helped my son strike me down, I refused to surrender to mortality. My spirit invaded your mind in search of a new purpose. You resisted.
And of course, depending on your personal choices in the beginning of Fallen Empire, the first chapter, this is different, depending on who kills Valkorion and how. First memory recovered, let's go for the second one. Oh, that's gonna fail. Okay, it didn't fail. Lucky me. Please notice Vaylin in the air. She looks cool from this point.
Locked in your mind, I conducted experiments to save my curiosity. I offered you my power, and you refused. I pushed you to defy Vulkk, but instead you recruited him.
Maybe because I'm playing this character as my main for over 5 years now, but I also agree with you, Trio, that the voiceover for the male Jedi Knight is the best one in the game. I do like the agent voiceover too, the male one, with that special, strange, what I would believe, English accent. Sorry, I had to stop for a sneeze. This is the Odessan scene.
I pretended to abandon you on Odessa, but my departure was a ruse. Trapped in your mind, I silently observed how you behaved in my absence. Your strength grew, your vulnerabilities festered.
I hate that laugh. It's very inappropriate.
In time, my curiosity eroded, and a plan began to take shape. I would hollow out your mind, take possession of your body, and ascend to the eternal throne. But first, I would...
The laugh from the Emperor when he teleports is not appropriate for light side. Because that's supposed to be me trapped in his body. And in terms of accents, even though I consider mine to be funny, my favorite accents are Scottish and Irish. But Scottish is absolutely by far my favorite accent, especially from true Scottish people from movies. I don't know personally in my life people from Scotland, but I love watching in the movies people speaking with a Scottish accent. Ever since I saw Braveheart for the first time.
I urged you to hunt Vaylin, and when she threatened your life, I made her kneel before the dragon of Zakuul. By striking her down, you unleashed her spirit, and gave me the key to your ruin.
Nope, you're not allowed to do emotes. And unfortunately, someone asked me, I think it was you, Sunfish, or someone else, long ago in the middle of the boss fight with Vaylin, someone asked me to show my armoring. So yeah, there it is. Full 224 from the previous expansion, level 65 on both sides. Absolutely everything is min-maxed for level 65, not for 70. And it is all augmented, of course. So yeah, too late, but I actually showed that in the beginning of the live stream, and I'm now showing it in near the end of the live stream. I don't think Sean Connery's accent is a truly Scottish one. I may be speaking blasphemy here, I do love him as an actor, but the sh he's using in his speech is a little bit frustrating from time to time. I loved David's accent. Can't really remember Zazo's one now. Damn.
Take the holocron. Save yourself.
The Outlander's alive.
Father conquered his mind, but he's fighting back.
Look out!
You persist. Impressive.
You may take my body, but you can't have my mind.
A minor inconvenience. When you struck down Vaylin, I consumed her essence. Her spirit is now mine to command.
Let me go or I'll chop you into little pieces.
Submit, my child.
As you wish.
Don't let him cage you again.
Let me go!
Your interference ends here. Destroy the Outlander!
And we have the first part of this boss fight against Vaylin. I don't think I need to switch specs, although the first time I did it, I switched to a dot spec. Vaylin has pretty much the exact same capabilities here, just like with the final battle from Chapter 8. And in case you're struggling, you can always go up and heal yourself. Now would be a good moment to run away, because her Force Overload ability is exactly the same as in the previous chapter. With 9 seconds channeling, you want to be away. Otherwise, bad things will happen to you. If I was using the dot spec here for self-heals, I would probably not even need those green puddles walking around. But since they are here, and since this I probably will upload later on as a separate video in terms of attempting it to be useful as a guide, maybe I should tell you guys what you could do. So yeah, when you see green circles floating around you on the ground, just stand on them. That will allow you to consume them. Oh, don't do that, Vaylin. Be a good girl. In the different version where you have killed Arkan, for example doing the dark side, because I did it on Tuesday, you actually fight Arkan and Vaylin here together in this first part of the final boss encounter. Of course, another option is at the end of chapter 7 to not allow Dark Dramat to disappear and release his spirit. You could keep the hologram. It is yet another option for you to help you here in this fight. Oh no, 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 run away, run away, run away. Thank God the channel in story mode is 9 seconds. I expect it would be shorter in hard mode. Oops, activated Steam too early. And there we go.
Rise, my child.
I am yours to command, Father.
Vaylin, you're free.
That felt lovely.
Enough! Vanquish the Outlander!
I have a better idea, Father. The Outlander's toy set me free.
Take the holocron, Arkan. The Outlander needs you.
Father is too strong.
You've proven yourself stronger. Show him the man you've become.
Arkan?
I won't let you face him alone.
Touching. Vaylin, strike down the brother who betrayed you, and the Outlander who stole your life away.
Father makes a good point, for once.
Attack us and forever be Valkorion's slave. Join us and fight for the freedom he stole from you as a child. It's your choice.
Choice. I could get used to that.
Such a waste.
Now I see why you locked me away, Father. You knew I'd surpass you. You were afraid. I'm going to enjoy watching you squirm.
You have won over my children. Now you will all be consumed by eternity!
This is the last, the final, the most epic fight of the expansion. We are about to fight Valkorion, who has a big pool of HP. We do have a light transformation. Focus the power of the holocron, which we obtained in the end of chapter 7, on the light side of the force. Allows you to attack Valkorion when he's shifted into the light. There will be an icon on his bar. Similar thing about the dark transformation. Focus the power of the holocron on the dark side of the force. Allows you to attack Valkorion when he is shifted into the dark. Third, and the most fun one, Force Drain, with a 1 minute cooldown, drains a huge amount of health from Valkorion, and it can be only used while Valkorion is not transformed. So, let's try and call him down here. We've got Arkan and Vaylin on our side. By the way, this is the same for both light and dark side version.
Of the Eternal Emperor.
And let's call my companion back in attempt to move Valkorion to me. We have entered the dark stage for Valkorion, and now I have capability of using a couple of abilities on him. These are special abilities that I can or want to use eventually. Valkorion has disappeared. He should appear any moment now in his normal stage. Oh crap, he's still here. Okay, let's enter the dark stage again. And he is now in normal form, which will allow me to exit the dark stage because he's lost the buff. Now I'm going back to the normal stage, and as soon as he appears, he doesn't have any icon buff, which means I can use Force Drain to quickly drain a huge amount of HP from him. And now we just continue bashing him while waiting for the next phase to begin, which will be probably the light side. The green puddles are still present here, probably more useful for future in veteran mode, for example.
Conjure 100 more holocrons, an arsenal of super weapons. Nothing will stop me.
You're wrong, Valkorion. Kneel before the dragon of Zakuul.
No, that only works against Vaylin.
I control what happens here, and I say what's good for Vaylin is good for you.
Clever.
Kneel, father! Kneel before the dragon of Zakuul!
It's over. Let go.
Senya.
You've turned your back on this family for the last time.
I am the immortal Emperor. You cannot defeat me.
Sooner or later, death was always going to catch up with you.
Husband.
Father.
Monster!
Give your family the freedom they deserve.
A god has no family. Before I graced you with my presence, you were nothing but motes of filth drowning in the chaos of the void. And you, a lone Jedi, hounding me without aim or purpose. I forged you into a being worthy of the Eternal Throne. Without me, you are nothing.
Wrong again, Valkorion. It's you who needed me. Now you're alone, and nothing can save you from the fate you deserve.
Remember me when your alliance burns to ash.
Valkorion.
Go. Join my brother.
Ha! How does it feel to be erased from the galaxy?
It's over.
You defeated Valkorion. Once and for all.
The Immortal Emperor may be gone, but he left the galaxy in shambles. It's time to clean up his mess.
The galaxy needs a leader if it ever hopes to fully recover.
I've opened a system-wide holo-channel. The galaxy's ready to meet the new Emperor.
I'm no emperor. People of the galaxy, the war is over. The Eternal Fleet is pacified. Today marks the end of the Eternal Empire. The people of Zakuul are now free to rule themselves. I will transform the throne into a beacon of peace, dedicated to helping Zakuul recover from a war that nearly destroyed us all. We've faced the full might of the Eternal Fleet. Watched cities fall, friends die. We have suffered for the last time. The Eternal Fleet will now serve as a benevolent armada, delivering supplies, transporting refugees, and healing the damage this war inflicted. We must now look forward, beyond our homes, to the stars that surround us. This will be our new frontier as we work together to rebuild the galaxy. By trusting in each other, we begin a new era in galactic history. The age of the Eternal Alliance.
You're missing the party.
Funny, I thought you passed out on the dance floor.
I got a second wind. Let me guess. You saw the intelligence reports.
The Republic's preparing for war.
And the Sith Empire's not far behind. So much for our friendly pact with Asina.
The Eternal Alliance is only hours old, but already I sense dark forces massing against us. uprisings sparking across the galaxy.
We will defeat them.
Tomorrow. Tonight, we celebrate.
Well, that was it, guys. 8 hours of gameplay, 8 hours of live streaming. The end of the light side walkthrough has finished. It is 1:40 in the morning for me. I was glad that I survived this very long live stream session. 1 hour shorter than the first one, actually. I have a feeling I managed to piss off about half of my live chat here by not proclaiming Vulkk the Emperor of Zakuul and the Eternal Emperor. And I've already been reading funny comments here and there about what the Eternal Alliance actually means. I think someone mentioned it on Tuesday, just at the end of the live stream, that Eternal Alliance actually is EA. And EA, the producers of the game, has actually ordered BioWare to create the name as it is, Eternal Alliance, with the respective letters E and A. I will not make a huge review right now, even though I've already played through both sides on the live servers and I have a very good observation of what has happened. Thank you very much everyone for joining me for both of the live streams. I'm glad that you survived together with me. Special thanks to all of you who joined for both of the live shows and survived both of the live shows with their full durations. I don't think it's easy. Definitely not for me and probably not for you as a spectator or a viewer. To everybody who joined and subscribed throughout these two live streams or in the recent days after the release of the expansion, welcome to my channel. It is mostly dedicated to Star Wars The Old Republic, and you can expect all kinds of videos here, starting with guides and tutorials, because I believe that's exactly what sets me apart from the other folks who are creating SWTOR content. I think that I have enough experience, both in terms of just playing the game and in terms of how long I've been playing the game, to be able to produce good quality instructional videos, especially for new players. We have a new Star Wars movie coming in 2 weeks, and after it, just like last year, I expect an influx of players, and because of the new expansion and because of the holidays, of course. I think I will create a new special separate video to share all of my opinions and make it in the form of a review for Knights of the Eternal Throne. I've mentioned it during the live streams already a few times. You know that I like it far more than Fallen Empire. I enjoyed the choices. There is definitely meaningful choice involved in Eternal Throne, and it is not just about deciding the fate of a companion that will never return, but it actually changes you, because you are the person making these choices. Like, for example, on Tuesday, I was really sad to be forcing or condemning Vet to death, but for the dark side purposes, my Sith warrior was just making a clear logical decision, and Torian is the better asset for my alliance. That is it, guys. I will see you with the next video, probably tomorrow if I manage to upload some of them. Maybe on Saturday with some more live streamings, uprisings and stuff. That was it. I have a few videos uploaded earlier tomorrow before this live stream. If you haven't checked them out, there are actually 4 guides and tutorials that I think will be useful to you. Check them out. There is no story there, so if you're afraid of spoiling even more the story for yourself, don't worry, it's not going to happen. That's it from me. Closing up the event for now. Gonna have some sleep.